booing crowds as Prime Minister Boris Johnson entered St. Paul's Cathedral on Saturday have been slammed as woke, while others called the jeers and whistles, mainly by apparent monarchists, the signal to the Conservative Party it is time for Mr. Johnson to go. The second day of Platinum Jubilee celebrations saw a tense Prime Minister, alongside wife Carrie Johnson, step out of his car and walk up the stairs to the London Cathedral for a Thanksgiving service in honour of Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign, greeted by an interesting chorus of both boos and cheers. After months of controversy over Partygate, which led to resignation demands across the political spectrum, jeers among the public, with one person heard shouting "F off Boris" came as no surprise. Yet, some of those raising their voice at the event were branded contradictory. The second day of Platinum Jubilee celebrations saw a tense Prime Minister, alongside wife Carrie Johnson, step out of his car and walk up the stairs to the London Cathedral for a Thanksgiving service in honour of Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign, greeted by an interesting chorus of both boos and cheers. After months of controversy over Partygate, which led to resignation demands across the political spectrum, jeers among the public, with one person heard shouting "F off Boris" came as no surprise. Yet, some of those raising their voice at the event were branded contradictory. During the service, which the Queen was forced to pull out from after it is believed she experienced episodic mobility issues during Friday's celebrations, Mr. Johnson gave a reading from the Bible about integrity. Quoting a passage from Philippians 4:8, the Prime Minister said, "Whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable 3CJP think about these things." Last week, senior civil servant Sue Gray released the findings of her long-awaited report on parties at Downing Street at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. The 37-page document highlighted a culture of excessive drinking and examples of a lack of respect and poor treatment of security and cleaning staff, with Ms. Gray claiming political and official leadership in No 10 must bear responsibility. Several politicians have been angered about Partygate but have cited factors such as the war in Ukraine and the cost of living crisis as reasons why they keep on supporting the Prime Minister. While most Tory MPs still appear to back Mr. Johnson, more than 20 backbench Conservatives have publicly called for the Prime Minister to go. Meanwhile, determined rebels believe they are close to reaching the threshold of 54 no-confidence letters needed for a leadership challenge. But several cabinet ministers are loyally defending Mr. Johnson. Jacob Rees-Mogg said this week the Prime Minister remained an enormous electoral asset. He added, "I think the idea that a change of leader would help the Conservatives is for the birds. It would be the most divisive thing that the party could do. It's an exceptionally silly thing to want to try and open the door to Sir Keir Starmer, assuming he manages to survive." His Chief of Staff, Steve Barclay, said in the wake of Ms. Gray's report, "I work very closely with him. He is focused on our response to Ukraine. He is focused on the huge challenge economically for families, for your viewers, in terms of the cost of energy, the cost of food. He is getting on with the job." Speaking on Sky News, he added, "He has been getting the big calls right, but he accepted, in terms of some of these incidents, that there were lessons to be learned." Other senior politicians who attended the Queen's Thanksgiving service included Home Secretary Priti Patel and Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, while former Prime Ministers were there to pay tribute to the monarch too. When Labour leader Keir Starmer arrived, just minutes after Mr. Johnson, the crowd stayed quiet. Back on social media, user Angela M pointed at being booed by a crowd made up of royalists as a worrying sign. She said, "Johnson avoids crowds which have not been carefully curated. He couldn't avoid that today, and the response is exactly how he knew they would be." Boos coming from a pro-royalist flag-waving crowd probably shocked him though. Fiona Small echoed her words as she wrote, "Boris Johnson being heavily booed by Union Jack-waving monarchists might actually be the signal to the Conservative Party that he needs to go." Thank you for watching our videos. Subscribe to our channel to get notifications when we post newest videos. Thank you and goodbye.